Hey, it's Rich, the Louisiana hobby guy. Today we're making boxes. We're making tissue boxes and we're making coaster boxes, slate coasters, wood coasters, any kind of coasters in any size, even 8 heavy slate coasters. And we're making these boxes without any glue today. The only thing that we're doing is friction fit. So let's talk about friction fit and let's get this video started. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to do this coaster box right here that you see. And it's got the little finger grooves that makes it easy to put the coasters in and out. And we're going to design this in Lightburn. So let's get started and design this box. Here in Lightburn, this is the box right here. And this is the coaster box. Don't pay attention to that little guy on the right. I'm actually designing a clock for a family member that has different bears at all the different number places all the way around the clock. That's my template right there. And really all that is, if you're interested, is just a bunch of ovals that I've turned into a bear face. So I haven't finished the body yet. This is just going to be the bear, and I think I'm going to put the number in here. So for right now, I'm just designing the 12 bears. But anyway, getting back to the box, I go off on a tangent a lot, I know. Getting back to the box, this is a box for 4-inch coasters, 4 of them. And you can double the size here to make a box for 8 coasters. But let me show you how I made this. And normally I just design these myself, the tabs and the slots. But for this video, for most people, they're going to want to just go to boxes.py. And this is a box generator that I've shown you before. We will click on boxes and just a simple box. That's all we need right there. Now it's going to ask us the settings. It's asking us the inner width in millimeters. We know it's 4 inches, so we want that to be 116 millimeters just to give it a little room. And then the inner depth in millimeters, and that's going to be so it's going to be 116. The X and the Y is 116 by 116. The H, or the height, is going to be 57 millimeters is what I used for the 4 coasters. That works perfectly. On this one here, you want to make sure that you have the height edge parallel finger joints, which we already have. The thickness of the wood is, I'm using 6 millimeter wood. Actually, I use 3 millimeter wood on this. So we're going to use 3 millimeter wood. We want an SVG file. You can choose from any one that you want here. I want an SVG file. Tabs are going to be 0. We don't want any tabs or bridges. We don't want a QR code. We don't want labels. We don't want the reference. We do want corners. We don't want loops. Okay, so we're going to do corners. The burn correction I leave alone here, and it seems to work well on my 10-watt laser. I know it has a 0.08 spot size, and I have a nice friction fit. And down here you'll see a preview of the box that you're going to get. And all we have to do at this point is click download. And we're going to download a box.svg. So we will save that and we'll go to that folder, and I will just click on it and drag it straight over into Lightburn. So now we've got our box generated. Now I'm going to switch into, actually I'm just going to put this on the red layer. And now we have something very similar to what you see up there, except I didn't define the amount of slots. So mine has less slots over here. I prefer it that way. You can make it more or less in the generator if you like. And now what we have is, let's ungroup this. Come up to the top and ungroup. We have the base, and we have the 4 sides, and that's all there is to it. So it's 5 complete pieces. All we're going to do now is put in a finger hole so that you can reach in and take those coasters out. And we can actually delete one of these because we're going to make a custom one. So let's pull this off to the side here. And I'm going to take the circle tool right here and make an oval. So I'm going to drag over this to make an oval like that. And if you see my workspace grid here, it looks kind of weird because I have that in 1 mm spacing. If you come up here to your general settings in Lightburn and look at your visual grid spacing, this is where I changed it to 1 so that I can precisely locate this. As you can see up here, I have it right about 3 mm from the slot. That's why I have this in 1 mm spacing so that I can see if I zoom in here, and if I select, oops, if I select just that one and I move it down holding the control key very slowly, I want to get it about 3 mm away from the top right here. So that's 1, 2, that's about right there. But you'll see that it doesn't look quite right, and it's kind of curving into a point. So we don't want to use it like that. And you'll notice that mine is different. It curves straight up. So let me show you how to do that real quick. So what we're going to do is we're going to come up to Edit. We have the oval selected right now. We're going to click Edit. We're going to convert that to a path. So we'll click on Convert to Path. And then over here on the left, we're going to go into Node Edit. And we only have 4 nodes in this oval. And all I want to do is drag it straight up this line to the top. So I'm going to eliminate that corner. So I'm going to drag this node straight up to the top. I'm going to do the same exact thing on this side, drag that up to the top. And now we have that node come back to the selector tool. It is now selected. We're going to hold Shift and select the outer part. And now what we want to do is come up here to Tools, the Boolean Assistant, and we want to subtract A minus B. And you can get a preview of all the different ones in here, but this is the one we're looking for, A minus B. So I'll click on that and say OK, and we're done. And this is pretty much ready to go on the laser. Now I'm going to press Control and the letter D to duplicate it, and this way we have an exact copy of it. And all I did up here was nest these together. So I'm going to drag this up here, and I'll press the period key to turn it sideways, and then I'll sort of get it in about the right area right there. Now I'll select both of these by dragging across both of them, and I'll come up here to Arrange, Distribute, and I will move these horizontally together, just like that. Now I'm going to do the same thing. Let me get all of these off to the side so that we have enough space to do it. I'm going to take this one, press my period key to turn it sideways. I'm going to drag this one up here like so. And now I will select the 2 of these and do Arrange, Distribute, Move horizontally together. And now you see I have the 3 of them moved together. And what I can do here is just take this one, bring it up to about the same place as this one. And this, none of this has to be really perfect. You know, it doesn't have to be perfect. I can move these horizontally together, or I can do it by hand. You know, that's pretty close. We'll just grab both of them, Arrange, Distribute, move horizontally together. They're now together. And then we can just group these together. So we'll group those like that, group these together, group those like that, select all of them, Arrange, Distribute, move vertically together. And now we have exactly what I have over here. Now, of course, I didn't get these lined up perfectly, but they're pretty close. And of course, you could ungroup these and, you know, go ahead and do the same thing over here. Ungroup these. Just to get these 2 moved together, you could do Arrange, Distribute, move vertically together like that. And then you got more of what I've got over here. I spent a little more time lining these up. But this is basically the same thing. So now this is ready to cut 6mm box. 3mm box, excuse me. The ones that I have over here, this is for a 6mm box. You can see the difference in the size. But both of these are ready. Let's jump over to the laser real quick, and I'll run a couple of these off, and you can see the final product. Okay, so I decided that maybe I should take just one more minute to talk about kerf. And I am using the Lasermatic 10. I know that it has a 0.08 spot size. So that's the reason why I chose 1.0 for the offset on the website, is because that 0.08 will fit perfectly together, but it'll move all around. But if you choose 1.0, if you go just 0.02 more than what your kerf is, it's going to be bigger. It's going to be a really tight fit. And that's what I like, is a friction fit. I really don't like fumbling with glue when I do these boxes. So that's why I just want to take 1 second to explain that. So I chose 1.0 because I know it's going to be the slots are going to be smaller than the tabs slightly by 0.02. And that way I can hammer them in, and I'm going to show you that in a minute. So we're going to skip all the boxes. We're going to go straight to the tissue box video where I'm assembling the tissue box, because that's the most complicated one. You have the 4 sides and the bottom, and it's a big piece. So let's skip over to that, take a look at the assembly of that, and then we can look at the finished product for all of them. All right, so here we go. I've got all of the parts done for my tissue box, and let me put them all the right way. That's the front, there's the top, and here's the back and another side. So we can start the assembly process. And I can't tell you that sometimes I'm not going to get this right, but hopefully this time I will. So we want to line these up. Now I've done I've left it at the 1 kerf. So this is going to be a very tight fit. So I'm just going to start on one side with my little toy hammer. And I'm going to knock that in. And then I'm going to move down slowly until I get all of them in. And that's pretty close. And you can see with that 1.0 kerf, because this has a 0.08 kerf, it is a super tight fit. So there is the back and the side. We need to put on the other side and make sure that the fleur-de-lis are facing the right direction. You can feel it when it gets to the right spot. That is the right spot right there. So I will start working my way down again. And don't worry if you crack some of these, it won't matter. As long as you hammer them in, you're going to be good. So now we have the back, 2 sides. Now we need the front. So we'll flip this on its side. We'll do one side at a time. And like I said, you'll feel it catch when you're in the right spot. And that is the right spot right there. Just work our way down and then go back over it and hammer them in. I love the friction fit because you don't have to fool with glue. Me especially, I hate fooling with anything like CA glue or anything like that. So I much prefer a friction fit. And that's why I do it this way. Now with the friction fit, you know you're going to get a perfect square. Or pretty darn close to it anyway. So now we've got those done. The only thing left to do is put on the top. And this can be problematic, ladies and gentlemen. But we'll just start a little bit like that on one side. And we'll slowly move down and around. Not hammering it all the way in. These should be lined up perfectly because we have a perfect square. as you can see, it's working out okay. This one already started going in. And now we can finish. And of course, you're going to go back around now and hammer the ones down like that you only started earlier. And there we have our tissue box. There's, excuse me, there's the front, the side, the back, and the other side. And if we grab our box of tissues, Kleenex tissues, this should, thank goodness, fit right on. And it will also have an air suction on the inside, so you can pick it up. It's not going to fall right out. So there we go. All you have to do now is pull this out and pull out a tissue, and we have a beautiful tissue box with no glue, friction fit, like most of the other things that I do. And then of course I'm going to go down and go around it, make sure everything is all the way down, all the way around on all four sides. And then when I'm finished doing all that, I'm going to just wax it. I'm going to use some beeswax, and I'm going to go over this whole thing with beeswax, and it's going to come out looking beautiful. If you want to get an idea of what happens when you put a little bit of beeswax on, I'll show you real quick. We'll do one side. Let me grab a little beeswax, and look at how beautiful this makes the wood. So I'll do half of this just to show you. It does a nice job on all of the joints and all of the graphics. As you can see, it gives it a slightly different color. And then once you rub this off, and of course I would let it sit for 10 or 15 minutes before I do this, but once you rub this off, you have a beautiful finish, really smooth and slick, and it looks absolutely gorgeous in my opinion. I don't think that you need any other type of finish on this box, or on lots of wood for that matter. So I'll go ahead and finish waxing this now, and that's it. So there you go, a beautiful box, friction fit, no glue, no hassles, no crazy glue on your, or CA glue on your fingers. You get your stuck fingers like that's what happens to me all the time. But yeah, there it is. I hope you like it. All right, so we're basically finished. This is the finished product here. I've got it all waxed up, and it is, I think it's absolutely beautiful. I think it came out wonderful. If you're wondering, I did customize this one. So basically what I did, these shapes on the top, I just drew from, I made some ovals and, you know, duplicated it. When you do a shape like this, what you want to do is half of the shape. So I designed half of the shape, then I duplicated it and mirrored it to make the other half. So that's what I did here. And then all I did was duplicate them and turn them sideways, and I came up with that pattern. So the fleur-de-lis, same thing. I got the fleur-de-lis from Google with no copyright, and I went ahead and traced the fleur-de-lis in these boxes. All I did was make a half a box. All of these dot boxes, I made a half of a dot box. Then I just duplicated them and I turned them 45 degrees. So just made a complete pattern, and then I cropped the pattern to the actual box itself. And then of course I added my brand on the back because I'm going to be giving this one away, and it's got my name and it's an original design. Everything about this is completely original. I designed everything about this box here. So we've got the tissue box, which I've made a couple of already. I did the 4-inch coaster box, which you can use any style coaster in this 4-inch box. In this one I'm using wood. This one I'm using round wood on that one, square wood on this one. You just got to get your measurements right so that you can pull them out. That also handles for slate coasters. Now I haven't finished these yet. I haven't waxed them yet. And then I did, as I showed you earlier, the 8 coasters with the 6mm wood. And all of these are friction fit. And this is actually kind of heavy. All these are friction fit, and they all work absolutely perfectly. So I also, on that website, I also found, and I thought someone gave me this file, but they didn't. I found this on that website. I did a small parts box. And I have a lot of trouble getting little screws and things when I'm assembling lasers and when I'm working on lasers. So I can drop them in here and grab them and push it up the side because the sides are angled. This, I thought someone had given me the file, but this is also from that same boxes.py website. So I also did a small parts box. They have plenty of other things there that you can do. This one is also friction fit, and you can't get these apart now. You can pull all you want, but what you're going to have to do is break up the wood, and it will break in a different place. Then it will not break where the joints are. It'll break in a different place. I know that because I've tried it. So there are all kinds of things that you can do with this now too. You can even take the coaster itself, the coaster box, and you can do a cutout all the way around here on all 4 sides and just have the 4 corners in here, and that looks neat too. I also do angled corners where I put 45s on the corners, and I make pieces that are angled, usually 2 pieces. Those I will glue together. That'll be a sturdy side where you just have the 4 corners. But there's so many ways that you can customize this. You can add graphics, you can add photographs. You know, it was just a lot of fun to do. I've done these before. I've done bunches of them. I usually design the tabs and the slots myself so that I can, you know, get them exactly where I want them. But the box generator makes it really easy for anybody that's new to this, and that way you don't have to worry about doing all the design. So I know it's a long video today. I'm famous for those, but I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed making it for you. And as always, I want to thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.